When my brother SAed a girl, my parents demanded I take the fall, saying he has a wife and kids, you don't. So I did this instead. And now they're suffering. Sup, Reddit. Look, I'm not the type to air out family business online, never have been. But after what happened, I need to get this out somewhere. And maybe someone needs to hear that standing your ground is the only option when people think you're expendable. I, 34 male, work as an industrial engineer for a manufacturing company. Been there for 9 years, worked my way up from entry level to senior engineer. Good salary, good benefits, good life. My twin brother Zachary is also 34. He's got the picture-perfect life on paper. Wife Jillian, 3 kids aged 12, 9, and 6. House in the suburbs with a 2-car garage and a golden retriever. We're identical twins. Strangers mix us up constantly, but personality-wise, we couldn't be more different. Zachary's the charming one. Always has been. Life of every party, quick with jokes, magnetic personality that pulls people in. I'm the quiet twin. Steady, reliable, keeps his head down and does the work. Meanwhile, I've got a condo downtown that I bought myself 3 years ago. No wife, no kids, no pets. Just me, my work, and a solid group of friends. My parents never hid their disappointment about my single status. Every family gathering, it was the same questions. When are you going to settle down? Don't you want kids? Zachary's got such a beautiful family. Don't you want that too? I'd just shrug it off. I was happy with my life. But to my parents, Zachary was the golden child who'd done everything right, and I was the one who couldn't get his life together, despite having a solid career and financial independence. Zachary got praise for being social and charming. I got lectures about being too serious. That setup matters, because when everything went down, they'd already decided which twin was worth protecting. This whole mess started on a Tuesday. Regular day. I was at work, running through production schedules for a new contract we just landed. Big deal for the company, bigger deal for my department. The contract was worth $8.2 million over 3 years, and my efficiency protocols would determine whether we hit profit margins or ate losses. I'd spent 2 weeks building the presentation. The VP of operations was there, director of manufacturing, 2 board members who'd flown in from corporate. This wasn't some departmental meeting you could duck out of. I was in the middle of a presentation to some higher-ups about implementing new efficiency protocols when my phone started vibrating in my pocket. First my mom, then my dad, then Zachary. I ignored them. You don't take personal calls during executive meetings. That's just common sense. But they kept calling. My phone was practically doing a dance on the conference table. The VP gave me a look, so I excused myself and stepped out. 14 missed calls. 14. In 30 minutes. My mom's voicemail was shaking, almost incoherent. Something about an emergency, about needing to see me right away, about Zachary being in trouble. She wouldn't say what kind of trouble, just kept repeating that I needed to come to their house immediately. Family emergency. I called her back. She answered on the first ring, voice all high-pitched and panicky. Told me to finish work and come straight to their place. Wouldn't explain over the phone. The drive to their house after work felt longer than usual. I ran through possibilities in my head. Someone sick? Someone died? Zachary's business failing? Jillian leaving him? Nothing prepared me for what was actually waiting. I walked through the front door around 6 p.m. The house was dark except for the living room lamp. My parents sat on the couch. Zachary stood by the window looking at his phone, shoulders hunched. Jillian was nowhere to be seen. My dad didn't waste time. Zachary had been accused of sexually assaulting a 23-year-old woman at his office. She'd filed a police report 3 days ago. HR had been notified. Corporate lawyers were involved. The woman had hired her own attorney. I stood there processing. Did he do it? Zachary didn't look at me. My mom started crying immediately. She launched into this speech about misunderstandings, money-hungry women, false accusations. My dad cut in. They needed to discuss options as a family. Be smart about this. Strategic. That's when I should have walked out. That's when every instinct in my body told me to turn around and leave. But I didn't. I stayed because I thought maybe there was a reasonable explanation. Zachary finally spoke up. Voice shaky, defensive. He'd been working late with this woman, Riley, on a quarterly report. Big board presentation. They'd been alone in the conference room around 8 p.m. on a Friday. Everyone else had gone home. The office was dead quiet. Just the hum of the HVAC system and their laptops running numbers. Zachary said they'd been working for 3 hours straight, that he'd ordered dinner for them both. Chinese food from that place on 5th Street. He paid with the company card, told her to expense it later. Said the conversation had shifted from work to personal, that she'd laughed at his jokes. that he'd thought she was interested. He admitted he'd made advances, tried to kiss her, put his hand on her thigh, told her she looked attractive, but he swore when she said no, he stopped, that she pushed him away and he backed off immediately. A misunderstanding between colleagues, a misread signal. Did you force yourself on her? Did you assault her? He hesitated. Just a second, maybe two. His eyes flicked to my parents before looking back at his phone. That hesitation told me everything. My mom jumped in before he could actually answer. None of that mattered right now. The details were irrelevant. What mattered was protecting the family, protecting Zachary's kids. She kept saying his kids like they were props instead of actual human beings. Then my dad started with the pitch. He leaned forward, hands clasped together, voice steady, reasonable, like he was proposing a business deal. We need to think about this strategically. Zachary has 3 children depending on him. Jillian doesn't work. They have a mortgage, school tuition. If Zachary goes to prison, that entire family collapses. My mom nodded along. We just need to help create some doubt. Make it less clear-cut. That's all. I sat there trying to figure out where this was going. What are you asking me to do? My dad exchanged a look with my mom, then back to me. We're asking you to help your brother. To say you were there that night, that you saw what happened, that maybe things weren't as clear as this woman is claiming. The words hung in the air. I let them sit there for a minute. You want me to lie to the police? We want you to provide context, my mom said quickly. Help show that Zachary isn't a predator, that this was a misunderstanding that got blown out of proportion. My dad's expression changed. Harder. Fine. If that's not enough, then you take his place. You go in, you tell them it was you. My dad continued. You don't have the same responsibilities Zachary does. He has a wife and kids. You don't. Your job is just a job. If worst case happens, and there are consequences, you can recover. Zachary can't. His kids can't. I stood up. I wasn't there that night. I'm not lying to police about a sexual assault. My mom's voice went higher. We're not asking you to lie, just to help create reasonable doubt, to show that Zachary isn't the person this woman is making him out to be. By saying I was somewhere I wasn't. That's lying. My dad's expression hardened slightly. We're asking you to think about what's best for this family, for those 3 children who need their father. Then Zachary should have thought about that before he assaulted someone. The room went cold. My mom stopped crying. My dad's jaw clenched. Zachary finally looked up from his phone. It wasn't like that. I didn't assault anyone. This is a misunderstanding and you're acting like I'm some kind of monster. Did you touch her without permission? I misread signals. That's not a crime. Actually, it is. And now you want me to help you get away with it. My dad stood up. Voice still controlled, but with an edge now. Family protects family. We're trying to protect this family. You walking away means you're choosing a stranger over your own brother. I'm choosing not to commit a crime for him. My mom grabbed my arm. Please, just think about it. Sleep on it. We can talk more tomorrow when everyone's calmer. I pulled my arm away. There's nothing to think about. I'm not doing this. I headed for the door. My dad called after me. If you walk out now, don't expect us to just let this go. Zachary needs help. This family needs help. You refusing to be part of that solution says everything about who you are. I stopped at the door, turned back. What exactly does it say? That you care more about yourself than your own family. I left without responding. The next morning started with texts from my mom at 6:47 a.m. Please reconsider. We're desperate. Zachary's lawyer says the case is strong against him without someone else to provide context. You're the only one who can help. Please. Then another at 7:15 a.m. Those children are going to grow up without their father because you won't help. Can you live with that? Zachary texted around 10 a.m. about his life, his kids, Jillian falling apart. Jillian texted at 11:30 about the children asking why daddy seemed scared. My dad left a voicemail about family loyalty, doing what's right, how the extended family would know I refused to help. My mom called crying about how she didn't raise me to be selfish. I didn't respond to any of it. Blocked Jillian's number. Deleted the voicemails without finishing them. Went to work like normal. That evening, my dad tried calling my office line. The receptionist transferred it. We need to talk about this rationally, he started. No greeting. You're making an emotional decision based on principle instead of thinking about the practical reality. Zachary's lawyer says, I hung up, blocked his number from the office system. Around 8 p.m., my mom showed up at my building. The front desk called up. I told them I wasn't accepting visitors. She waited in the lobby for 40 minutes before security asked her to leave. The security guard, this older guy who'd worked the desk for 6 years, gave me a heads up the next morning. Said she'd been crying. making a scene, trying to convince him to let her up without clearance. He'd dealt with enough drama in his career to know when someone was trying to manipulate their way past building policy. He'd stood firm, eventually called the building manager when she refused to leave. She'd finally walked out muttering about ungrateful children. Day 2 was worse. My mom texted at 6 a.m. about the prosecutor moving forward with charges. Zachary sent a long text about having to sell the house, pull the kids from school, move in with Jillian's parents, destroying their lives for moral high ground. I ignored all of it. My dad called my supervisor that afternoon, got his number from LinkedIn. My boss called me in around 3 p.m. looking confused. Your father called, said there's a family emergency and he's concerned about your mental state, asked if you've been acting unusual lately. I felt my jaw clench. There's no emergency. My family is trying to involve me in a legal situation I want no part of. My boss nodded slowly. He'd been in corporate long enough to recognize family dysfunction when he saw it, told me to take whatever time I needed, but also made it clear that personal drama needed to stay off company property. Fair enough. That evening, 2 police officers showed up. Wellness check. My mom had called saying she was concerned I might hurt myself, that I'd been acting erratic. The officers were professional, asked if I was okay. I explained calmly that my family and I were having a disagreement about a legal matter, and they were escalating inappropriately. Showed them my ID, proved I was coherent and stable. They noted it and left. But I knew what this was. My parents showing what they were capable of. Day 3, my mom called from a new number. I answered by accident. Thank God. Please listen. We're running out of time. The arraignment is next week. Zachary's lawyer needs a statement. Just character witness. That's all. She'd changed tactics, from lie to police to just be a character witness, testing if I'd accept the smaller ask. Just when I thought I was out, they were trying to pull me back in. Stop calling me. We made a mistake asking for more. We were panicked, but this is reasonable. Please. I hung up and blocked the number. Then I called a criminal defense attorney I'd found the night before. The attorney called me back within 2 hours. We met that evening at his office downtown. I laid out everything. The initial conversation, the pressure campaign, the wellness check, my dad calling my work. He took notes in a leather-bound notebook. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. They're building up to something. This isn't random harassment. They're trying to wear you down so you'll accept a compromise position. First, they ask for everything. You refuse. Then they ask for something smaller that seems reasonable by comparison. But it all serves the same purpose. What do I do? Next time they contact you, record it. Get them on record stating explicitly what they want. Right now, it's all vague. Make them spell it out. He charged $350 an hour. Worth every cent. 2 days later, my dad called from another new number. I almost didn't answer, but the attorney's advice was fresh in my mind. We need to talk face to face, my dad said. No more phone calls. No more games. Just sit down and discuss this like adults. I have nothing to discuss. Zachary's arraignment is Monday. The lawyer needs to finalize his defense strategy. You showing up and refusing to even hear us out isn't helping anyone. One meeting. That's all I'm asking. I thought about my attorney's advice. Get them on record. Fine. When? Tomorrow. 6 p.m. Our house. I showed up at 5:58 p.m. with my phone in my jacket pocket, voice recorder app already running. I'd checked the law first. One-party consent. Completely legal. And they'd never know. Jillian was there this time, sitting on the couch next to my mom. Zachary stood by the window, tapping his phone against his thigh. My dad sat in his recliner. Papers were on the coffee table. A whole folder. My dad started immediately. Zachary's lawyer says the case hinges on credibility. It's he said, she said. No physical evidence. No witnesses. Just 2 competing narratives. The prosecutor is moving forward because this woman seems credible, and Zachary has no one backing up his version. I stayed quiet. Let him talk. We're not asking you to lie anymore. We were wrong. We crossed a line. But there are other ways you can help. Character testimony. People who can speak to Zachary's character. Jillian spoke up. Voice quiet. The kids keep asking me what's wrong. I don't know what to tell them. I looked at her. Tell them the truth. That their father assaulted someone. Her face crumpled. My dad held up a hand. Zachary's lawyer has been reviewing options. There are ways to create reasonable doubt without anyone lying. Character testimony about Zachary's work ethic, his family values. I leaned back, crossed my arms. Walk me through exactly what you're asking. My dad seemed relieved I was engaging. Just testimony about Zachary's character. That he's not the kind of person who would... What specifically would I say? My mom jumped in. That you know your brother. That he respects women. that this doesn't sound like him. I nodded slowly. And what about the incident itself? The night it happened? My dad's expression shifted, more eager now. The lawyer thinks it would help if someone could provide context about that evening. Maybe that you talked to Zachary that night, that he mentioned working late with a colleague, that he seemed normal, not agitated or guilty. Did I talk to Zachary that night? Pause. You could have, but I didn't. My mom's voice got higher. But you could testify that you did. Who would know? It's just a phone call. There it was, getting closer. I reached for the folder on the coffee table. My dad didn't stop me this time. Inside were draft statements, witness statement template with my name at the top, blank spaces for dates and details, signature line at the bottom. But the narrative itself was pure Zachary. It described his office layout, his working relationship with Riley, his version of what happened that night, all in first person. What's this? My mom's voice was barely a whisper. Just options. Different ways you could help. I read through it. This is written like I'm him. How would I know any of this? My dad leaned forward. You're his identical twin. You've been to his office. The statement just formalizes what you'd naturally observe. Except I wasn't there that night. It provides reasonable doubt, my dad said carefully. Makes the jury think maybe things weren't as clear-cut as this woman claims. I set the paper down. You want me to sign a statement describing events I didn't witness to make it seem like I have direct knowledge of what happened. My dad's jaw tightened. We want you to help your brother. By telling police I was at his office that night? My mom grabbed my hand across the table. Please, we're running out of options. The lawyer says without someone to back up Zachary's version, the jury will side with this woman. We just need you to say you were there, that you saw them together, that it looked consensual. I didn't say anything. Just looked at my phone screen and watched the timer climb. 38 minutes. 39. My dad stood up. You're his twin. You're the only one who can do this. Sign the statement. Tell the lawyer you were at the office building that night, that you saw Zachary and Riley together in the parking lot or through a window, that they seemed friendly. That's all we need. Zachary finally stopped tapping his phone, looked at me directly. I didn't assault anyone. And if you were there, if you saw us, you'd know that. So really, you'd just be confirming the truth. Except I wasn't there. So I'd be lying. My dad's voice hardened. We're asking you to sign a statement saying you were at Zachary's office building the night of the incident, that you observed him and Riley together, that their interaction appeared consensual. That's what we need from you. I stood up. I'm not signing anything. I'm not lying to police. I'm not committing perjury for Zachary. My mom grabbed my arm. Tighter this time. Nails digging in. Then you're choosing to destroy this family. Zachary's kids will grow up without a father because you won't help. I pulled my arm away. Zachary's kids will grow up without a father because he assaulted someone. My dad stepped closer. You walk out that door, you're not welcome back. Ever. I headed for the exit. Stopped at the door. You should know, that folder you prepared, with the fake statement with my name on it, if anything with my signature shows up anywhere, I'm filing charges for fraud and forgery. My mom's voice cracked. We'll make your life miserable. You already tried. Then I left. The recording was backed up to cloud storage before I even made it to my car. Every word, every request, every admission that they wanted me to lie to police about being present at a crime scene. All documented. I drove straight home and opened my laptop. Created a folder titled Zachary Case Evidence. Started a spreadsheet with columns for date, time, caller, duration, content. Every call logged with precision. Every text message screenshot with metadata visible. The recording from tonight's meeting, saved in 4 locations. 2 cloud services, external hard drive, encrypted USB backup in my desk drawer. I'd learned years ago in my engineering work that redundancy prevents disaster. Same principle applied here. Then I called my attorney, left a message explaining what happened, sent him the recording file. He called back within 30 minutes. That recording is gold. Your father explicitly asked you to sign a false statement. Your mother admitted they prepared documents without your consent. This is conspiracy to obstruct justice. I'm drafting a cease and desist letter tonight. Over the next 5 days, they called 32 times. I didn't answer once. Every call, every voicemail, every text went straight to my attorney. He compiled it all into a legal file. My attorney sent formal cease and desist letters to my parents, Zachary and Jillian. Communication stops immediately, or we pursue harassment charges. They didn't stop. 3 weeks after I refused to take the fall, my attorney called me at work. They're trying to do it anyway. Zachary's attorney started pushing a mistaken identity narrative in their filings. They're arguing Riley confused the two of you, that she thinks it was Zachary, but it was actually you. I felt cold. They're framing me without my consent? Yes. And it gets worse. The detective handling Riley's case wants to talk to you. I told him we'd cooperate fully, but only with me present and everything on record. The meeting was 2 days later. The detective, mid-40s, looked tired. He had Zachary's defense filings on the table. Your brother's attorney is claiming mistaken identity. Can you verify your location that evening? I pulled out my phone, opened my location history. I was at home. My phone was connected to my home Wi-Fi from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. My building has security cameras in the garage and lobby. My car never left. I can provide my work badge logs showing I left the office at 5:30 p.m. that day. The detective made notes. Your brother's attorney suggested you might have borrowed a car. I didn't. I was home, alone. I have proof. I forwarded everything to the detective. My phone's location data, request forms for my building's camera footage, my work access logs, everything. My attorney leaned forward. My client's family attempted to coerce him into making a false confession. We have recorded conversations documenting this attempt. We have text messages. We have timestamps. The document they submitted with my client's name is fabricated without his knowledge or consent. If they continue to involve my client's name in their defense strategy, we'll pursue criminal charges for conspiracy to obstruct justice, defamation, and witness tampering. The detective looked at the defense filings again, then at me. You're not a suspect. Your brother's attorney is trying to create alternative narratives because his case is falling apart. The mistaken identity angle is desperate. They know this won't hold up, but they're trying to create confusion for potential jury members. I nodded. What happens now? We proceed with the case against your brother. His statement goes in the trash. If he tries this again, we'll add obstruction charges. That was in December. The case wouldn't go to trial for another 13 months. I called my attorney the day after the detective cleared me, told him I had information that could help Riley's case, evidence about Zachary's past behavior, the financial trail showing my parents had protected Zachary before. Don't contact her directly, my attorney said immediately. That's witness tampering territory, even with good intentions. Zachary's attorney will use it against you both. Let me reach out to her counsel. Smart move. My attorney contacted Riley's attorney the next day. Explained what we had. Recordings of my family asking me to provide false testimony. Documentation of the pressure campaign. Evidence they'd prepared fraudulent statements. Information about past incidents. Her attorney called back within hours. Said Riley wanted to meet but through proper channels. My attorney set it up for the following week. We met at my attorney's office. Riley's attorney was there. My attorney was there. Everything documented and above board. Riley was younger than I expected. Junior accountant, probably fresh out of college when she started at Zachary's company. She had that look people get when they're fighting something bigger than themselves and running on empty. Her attorney did most of the talking initially. Explained that Zachary's family had been harassing Riley. Phone calls to her workplace. Settlement offers with NDAs. Threats about dragging her through court. My attorney slid the documentation across the table. The recordings. The fake statements with my name. The timeline of harassment. This shows a pattern. The family's coordinating to obstruct justice. The prosecutor needs this. Riley's attorney reviewed everything. Took notes. Then Riley spoke for the first time. They offered me $75,000 to disappear. Said if I refused, they'd destroy my career. Her voice was quiet but steady. Someone called my boss asking about my performance reviews. Like they were building a file on me. I leaned forward. They tried the same approach with me. When I refused, they fabricated evidence with my name on it. Her eyes filled with tears. You'd really do this? Against your own family? They stopped being my family when they asked me to become a criminal to protect a predator. My attorney forwarded everything to the prosecutor that afternoon. Riley's attorney got copies of everything. The case dragged out for over a year. Motions, depositions, continuances. Zachary's attorney kept trying to delay, hoping Riley would give up or the evidence would get weaker. She didn't. Riley's case was solid. She'd emailed herself a detailed account within an hour of the assault, time-stamped at 9:47 p.m. Her attorney subpoenaed Zachary's phone, and a forensic data recovery service pulled text messages Zachary thought he'd permanently erased. 17 messages he'd sent her that night, going from, "I'm sorry if I misread things," to, "If you tell anyone about this, you'll regret it." The company's HR files showed 3 other complaints about Zachary over 5 years. Women reporting inappropriate comments, unwanted touching, boundary violations, all documented but never acted on because Zachary was a top performer. Testimony from others helped establish a pattern. The jury took 4 hours to convict on sexual assault and unlawful restraint. Zachary got 3 years in state prison, 3 years plus probation, registration, mandatory counseling. Jillian had already filed for divorce halfway through the trial and moved the kids to her parents' place in another state. My parents showed up at my workplace after the sentencing, caused a scene in the parking lot. Security escorted them out while my mom screamed that I'd destroyed the family, that Zachary's kids would grow up fatherless because of me. I watched them get removed without saying a word. After the sentencing, my parents sent one email. Long, bitter. How I'd destroyed the family. How Zachary's kids would grow up fatherless because of me. I replied with one sentence. I didn't destroy this family. You did when you asked me to take the fall for a crime I didn't commit. Then I blocked them. 6 months passed. My parents were 3 months behind on that second mortgage. With Zachary in prison, they were struggling. My dad came out of retirement, got a part-time job at a hardware store. My mom picked up retail shifts. Both in their late 60s, working to stay afloat. I could have helped. I had the money, but I made a different choice. I reached out to a financial attorney, explained the situation. The bank holding their mortgage was preparing to start foreclosure proceedings. My attorney worked with a mortgage broker. Banks sell distressed mortgages all the time to private investors. The process is straightforward if you know the right people. My attorney knew the right people. Here's how it worked. My parents' original $200,000 second mortgage had been paid down some over 3 years, leaving an outstanding balance of about $185,000. The first mortgage had been paid off years earlier, making this their primary remaining debt. After they fell behind on payments, the bank wanted to offload the non-performing debt. I bought the note for $140,000, which was about 75 cents on the dollar. The bank was happy to get something rather than deal with a lengthy foreclosure. Once the transfer was complete, I now held a debt worth $185,000 that I'd only paid $140,000 for. The process took 6 weeks. Everything legal, everything documented, everything through proper channels. Once the transfer was complete, my attorney sent them a certified letter. The debt had been sold. They now owed payments to a different entity. Make payments on time every month, or foreclosure proceedings would begin. The letter didn't mention my name, not once. Just standard business language, account numbers, payment instructions. My dad figured it out within an hour. Called. I didn't answer. Sent it straight to voicemail. His message was predictable, yelling about how I was kicking them while they were down. How could I do this? What kind of person had I become? Called me vindictive, cruel, heartless. I deleted it without finishing. He called my attorney's office. My attorney informed him that this was a standard financial transaction. If they had concerns about their ability to make payments, they should contact the mortgage servicer directly. Any further contact with me would result in harassment charges. My mom tried letters, tearful handwriting about how she didn't understand how I could be so cruel, how she'd raised me better than this, how family was supposed to forgive each other. She sent cards with photos of Zachary's kids with handwritten notes about how they missed their dad. I sent everything back unopened. They kept making the payments. Barely, but they managed. Every month, like clockwork, the payment would hit the account. I never acknowledged it. Just watched the money come in, watched them scrape together enough to avoid default. My dad working 40 hours a week at the hardware store. My mom doing weekend shifts at a discount store. 2 people in their late 60s grinding through retail because their golden child couldn't keep his hands to himself, and they'd bet their entire future on him staying free. 10 months after Zachary's sentencing, they'd fallen even further behind despite their efforts. Late fees had accumulated, bringing the total balance to $187,000. Foreclosure was in motion. The auction date had been set for December 15th, less than 30 days away. My attorney got a call from theirs. They wanted to meet, discuss resolution options. No, I said. They're asking for a meeting to negotiate. You don't have to agree, but legally they're allowed to try. Fine. Your office. Cameras recording. You present. The meeting was scheduled for the following Tuesday at 2 p.m. They showed up 15 minutes early. My attorney's receptionist let me know via text. I made them wait until 2:05 p.m. When I walked into the conference room, my parents were sitting across the table. My dad looked smaller than I remembered. My mom's hands were shaking. Their attorney was young, probably fresh out of law school. Cheap suit that didn't quite fit. Nervous energy coming off him in waves. I sat down. Didn't greet them. Didn't make eye contact. Just opened my laptop and pulled up the mortgage account. Their attorney started. We're here to discuss a potential resolution regarding the mortgage debt. My clients are requesting a modification of payment terms due to financial hardship. My attorney slid a folder across the table. The account is significantly delinquent. Current balance with accumulated late fees is $187,000. The auction is December 15th, 26 days from now. My dad cleared his throat. We just need more time. A payment plan we can manage. I looked at him for the first time. You've had time. My mom's voice cracked. We're doing the best we can. We just need a little flexibility. I didn't respond. Their attorney tried again. Perhaps a reduced payment plan. My clients are willing to commit to consistent payments if terms are adjusted. My attorney looked at me. I shook my head once. My client is not interested in modifying terms. If the full delinquent balance is paid by December 10th, foreclosure stops. Otherwise, the auction proceeds. My dad's face hardened. This is because of Zachary. You're punishing us for trying to protect our son. I leaned forward. You're being foreclosed on because you defaulted on your mortgage. That's how mortgages work. My dad's composure cracked. You're doing this because you're alone, because you've got nothing. So you want everyone else to have nothing too. I closed my laptop, looked at my attorney. Are we done? My mom started crying. Real tears this time. Please. We're sorry about everything. We made mistakes. We were scared and desperate. But we're your parents. This house is all we have left. Are we done? I repeated. Wait, their attorney said. My clients prepared an apology statement. They're willing to sign it, have it notarized, admitting they were wrong? No. My mom reached across the table. I pulled my hands back. My dad tried one last angle. Voice flat. Zachary gets out in about 2 years. Once he's working again, we can pay you back. Structured payment plan, whatever amount you want. I stood up. The foreclosure stands. You have until December 10th to pay $187,000. Otherwise, you're out. My mom's voice cracked. We have nowhere else to go. We'll lose everything. I stopped, turned around, looked at her directly. He has dependents. You don't. Remember? Then I left. December 10th came and went. No payment. December 15th, the house went to auction. Sold for $165,000. My $140,000 investment came back whole. My parents had 60 days to vacate. They moved into a one-bedroom rental across town. Both kept working retail. Zachary wrote me letters from prison. Long ones about being sorry, about mistakes, about trying to be better. I threw them away without reading them. Watched them go into the shredder at work. Jillian reached out through a mutual friend a few months later. Wanted to apologize for begging me to take the fall. She'd been scared and desperate. I didn't respond. The kids were doing okay from what I heard. Jillian got a job in her hometown, moved in with her parents. The kids were in public school, seeing counselors. She'd started dating someone new, moving on. My parents became outcasts. Everyone knew what Zachary had done. Everyone knew they'd tried to cover it up. Friends stopped calling. Neighbors avoided them. No more church functions or events. I saw my mom at the grocery store several months later. She looked worn down, tired in a way that wasn't just physical. She froze when she saw me, just stood there staring. I nodded once, walked past like she was a stranger. She didn't follow. Zachary gets out in about 2 years. I've already decided what happens if he contacts me. Nothing. No response, no acknowledgement, no conversation. Recently, his lawyer called. Said Zachary wanted to meet when he gets out. Talk things through. Rebuild our relationship. Found religion in prison, apparently. Wanted to make amends. I told the lawyer Zachary can do whatever he wants with his life, but it won't involve me. Wasn't about guts. Was about self-respect. Zachary keeps serving his time. My parents keep working retail. Jillian keeps building her new life. And I keep moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.